What's up, guys? It's Phil Rogacki, Jared Abergina here, bringing you Two Tree Guys podcast. Hey guys, it's Phil Rogacki here, challenging the standard, drinking beers, and learning from Class A badasses. This is Two Tree Guys podcast, and always with me is one of my good friends, my fishing buddy.
Such an ass.
And the national treasure, also known as the Wizard to people out there, Jared Abergina.
Hey, y'all. You just ruined the introduction for me.
No, that is the introduction. And guys, we got a special podcast today. I'm super pumped because this has been, a pioneer in the industry for social media. And
long time.
I remember the first time you got up on stage at TCIA and you won that award. I was mad at you. I was like, what the heck? There's awards for this shit?
And I took the first tree care selfie. Do you remember that? Were you there for that?
No.
I went up on stage, accepted my award, and I did a big selfie of everybody at Winter Management.
That's awesome.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that. Hans Tielmann, guys. Hans Tielmann's with us today in the studio. You know, Hans Tielmann, tree expert, mobile crane SME, and founder of New Jersey Crane. So he's going to be with us today. And but before we get into his story and business and funny stories, and I heard there's a big announcement.
Yes, a very big announcement.
Very big announcement. If you guys are watching right now, there's a big mother effing announcement that's going to happen about halfway through this, and it's going to shake the industry. We may see it on Fox News or CNN tomorrow. So record it, play it, share it, because it's going to be pretty freaking awesome.
And to be fair, Phil and I have no idea.
I've been dying to tell Phil
what this is, so we're excited. For 2 days
no
we've been
idea.
hanging out with Cons, and we're making sure he does not tell us, so we can unleash it here.
He kept trying to tell me, and I'm like, don't tell me, dude. Don't tell me. I want this surprise. I want to feel it with everybody else. So he's not going to tell me.
It's going to be really shitty when you say it, and we're like, that was
That's it? That's it? What? You got a new crane? But hey, but before we start, Two Tree Guys, we always have a cold beer with a good friend, man. And today we brought to you our beer sponsor, Golden State Cider, out of Sebastopol, California. Sebastopol, did I say it? This was created by Jolie DeVato and Hunter Wade. They own an orchard here called DeVato Orchards in Sebastopol. So you guys already started drinking, but I do want to grab another one.
No, let's
what I got right here.
Ooh.
Who's had Golden State Cider before?
This one's pretty good.
What do you got?
Pineapple?
The pineapple
I
one?
don't know if I can gut one of these things.
This is a Jamaica. Thank you, Golden State Cider, for sponsoring us.
Radical. Oh, that's ice in my crotch.
You got one too?
Shit.
Okay. Gotcha. So Golden State Cider was the first ciders were made with 100% pressed apples. Their goal is to keep apple trees in the ground, and with that came the idea to produce high-quality craft ciders that highlight the regions where the apples are from. They have DeVato Orchards is one of the few remaining heirloom apple orchards in Sebastopol. And Stan DeVato has owned it, has made it his mission to preserve the region of rare varieties, something like that. But
check this out. I guess this one's legit. It's a straight brute champagne.
Oh shit!
Well,
So this,
I'm not gonna drink it, but
this cider down in Sebastopol, go there and get tastings. Awesome place, and you can order different food from there. And my wife and I went there, Liz, and we tried every single beer. And is it good or is it terrible?
no, it's great.
Which one did you try?
You got the champagne one.
No.
Oh no, the
ginger
ginger.
grab.
That's the one I drank first. It's a little
Woo.
spicy. Very, very
Look
spicy.
at his face. His face was like.
I'm trying not to make that face.
I'll
Holy
drink
shit.
that one if you don't want it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let me try this Jamaica
I'll drink that
one.
one after I drink this one. You should have got the pineapple.
Oh.
I think this
So
would be
Jamaica
good,
one's
like
good.
in a glass on ice.
How much alcohol is in this? 5.8.
Let me grab a
5.8.
glass. Do we have glasses in there still?
Yeah, there's a glass in there.
All right,
Here,
I'm gonna
Kendall, can you
grab
grab a
one.
glass? All right. Let's get in this. Hans, man. Dude, from New Jersey. You came all the way here, man. I would like to say just to see us, but you came here to teach a class. And it was a 2-day badass, awesome class. I mean, you inspired guys. I was sitting there talking to a few of them, and they go, that was freaking phenomenal. I was scared coming into this class because I didn't know if I was going to pass, I was going to fail. But the way he taught it, and showed us and took his time and explained, not only was I able to pass the test, but I retained a lot of the stuff that I'm going to be able to be used out there in the field for that, and just a wealth of knowledge for that. And I'm sad I wasn't in the class, but I was excited that I got to hang out with you for a couple days.
Well,
and
I was pretty happy you weren't in the class, so it worked out well. But
I fucking hate you.
I took the class. And for somebody like me that's been running cranes for almost 20 years, gosh, man, all the little ins and outs, and man, you covered it all. And it was so refreshing to get all that knowledge, and to get where you kill it is, well, obviously you kill it because you speak well and you're entertaining.
Thank
and
you.
you capture your audience, and It's bringing that material, and then you can explain it so well to the point where everything that's on that test that you need to know in your study material, your study guides, and your quizzes. Gosh, it takes it right into the test and makes it so easy, And it's just like, oh yeah, I remember that. Oh yeah, Hans had a good example of that I clicked in my brain because he mentioned it this way, and I'm like, and that stuck in my head, and that's how I learn and retain by those incidences that I can take back into a day-to-day life, and you do really well with that. So, for me, man, hands down, by far, best course I ever have taken. I mean, should I take it again just for fun?
It's funny because outside of the tree care industry, crane work really isn't that exciting. But there's so many dynamics to how we utilize this type of equipment, and then not only do we use it within its means, but then we have to kind of rifle through the variables that we have to encounter in the field, and then making choices and deducting the possibility of problems. So it's such a willing challenge that you want to overcome and get the work done, and get it done in a way that's going to make you money but preserve your equipment and keep you safe.
And let me say this too. You know how I knew it was a good class? And you should be really proud of yourself here. In 39 years, you got Jared to get the highest grade and the only A in his entire life. So
This is a true story, actually.
hats off. I mean, this was it.
Yeah.
I mean, it will be on his refrigerator with a smiley face.
I mean,
and
you're going a little far there, but I'm not a
97.
test taker,
97, right?
No, I think it was like 94. But,
It was a
you
94.
Yeah.
But good job, man.
But I'll take it.
But
Good job. Good job.
No.
So, Hans, man, bringing you on the show. I'm excited for one, but I'm excited because I get to hear your story. Okay?
Yeah.
I know you, but I don't know you. And I'm really excited to hear the announcements you're going to make. So, I want to dive into your story, who you are as a man, as a father, as a husband, as a business owner, on your journey of being born into this industry and to where you are now of inspiring the masses that are out there and teaching people from all across the country, the NewJerseyCraneExpert.com. So let's dive in, man. Tell me how you got in this crazy fun industry we're in.
oh man, it's first of all, I got to thank you guys for having me. All right, I've known both of you for minimum 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
All right, maybe longer. And I tremendous respect for both of you in the work that you guys are doing here on the West Coast and across the country, because
Appreciate it, man.
it's not easy. It's not easy to do what we do. And it's hard because we have to be able to inspire people to want to learn. You know, so it's a matter of trial and, you know, and trial and error. So I appreciate to be amongst the company of you guys. All right.
I feel this aura, this like power happening, like this trifecta power right here, man. I feel like we could just take on the world right now.
Yeah.
Do you feel it?
Oh,
I feel
yeah.
it, man. You got me
Yeah,
goosebumps talking like that.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I've been around the industry my entire life. I was born into a family where my dad was cutting down trees. You know, he taught himself. No formal training, and you know, obviously, you know, you gotta adapt and do things a certain way. And so my dad started in the mid '70s, early mid '70s, right when he was right when he graduated high school. And after 2 years in the business, my dad said, "This is nuts. I got to buy equipment." You know, so he bought his first knuckle boom in 1976. So he's had knuckle booms since the 70s, you know, in a time when nobody had equipment like that.
What made him want to get a knuckle boom?
He bought it just for the purpose of managing debris. So he used it so that he didn't have to cut up wood anymore. He was able to take 16 footers and load them onto a flatbed and cart them out when everybody else was using hand carts and wheelbarrows and cutting stuff up. And
Now, how'd your dad get in this industry?
my dad was always very practical in terms of being good with his hands, and he should have been an engineer if he actually applied himself to go to college and do well. I mean, I think he's got ADD just like me, so he was always thinking too far ahead.
Yeah,
you know. But he always said that he's like, Grandma could cut the lawn, but can Grandma cut the trees? You know, so he knew that he had to put himself in a position to do do something that no one else can do. So that's what he did. He started climbing trees, pruning, taking trees down. He bought his first dump truck when he was 15, before he even had a driver's license.
Oh yeah.
My grandma went to Germany for a couple weeks, and he cashed in his college savings bonds, and she came home and she had a dump truck in the driveway. You know, so
Oh shit!
that was
Man.
that. He got him and his buddies. He hired his buddies from high school, and they just started doing tree work. It's funny because some of them now are still was doing tree work. You know, and
How old is your dad now?
my dad's 65.
Is he out there every day?
Still running the saw every day.
Yeah, man.
6.5
stud.
days a week.
Dude.
What a stud.
The definition of old school.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Except he does go to
But
classes.
she's running circles around everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, being born into the industry, I mean, growing up, it wasn't really something that I wanted to do, seeing how hard my dad worked.
Yeah.
He made, he made money to pay the bills and get things done.
Yeah.
But no one ever had a comparable work ethic to him.
Yeah.
So I never wanted to work that hard.
Yeah.
Period.
Did you guys butt heads because of that, or was it like, expectations being a hard working dad and
We butt heads when it came down to the money, because he cared more about the quality than the money.
Yeah.
So I started asking for like work orders, and I'd be like, I want to know what we're exactly getting paid to do here. And he would be like, no, you're going to do all this work. This is what needs to be done. And I'm like, that's not what we're getting paid for. He goes, I don't care. It needs to be right.
Yeah.
So he goes, I know they weren't going to pay for this, but I need this to look this way. So it was a little bit of OCD, and I was just like, I don't want to be on this job an extra hour if we're not getting paid for that.
Right.
So that's where we kind of didn't see eye to eye. But at the end of the day, his level of quality was unmatched in terms of the our other peers in the area. And I think that that mentality kind of rubbed off on me in terms of my expectations and how I run my business, in terms of having a good product,
Mm-hmm.
really leveraging quality, and knowing that if I provide the best product, I will be at the top.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt about it. You cannot deny a product when it is the best.
Yep.
So how'd you get in? I mean, when did you decide,
I
Dad?
So
following your footsteps.
So I feel very blessed to say that I did go to college,
Yeah.
because it's something that I do. I feel that a lot of people in our industry never make it that far.
Yeah.
And even though I never really applied what I learned, even though I did apply a lot what I learned at college, I never got a career out of my concentration in college. I built a business. I built a few businesses, but I picked and chose little skills that I learned in college to make where I'm at now. But what college really taught me was to be a professional and respect people and have professional relationships. So, and that's how I hold myself in the public eye, to understand that you have to represent yourself in a certain way. And, you got to think quick on your toes, and, but at the same time, show respect to others in your field.
Yeah.
So I ended up working, getting a job at a college, doing marketing, and
What was the place called?
it was called Peter Paul Real Estate.
Peter
It
Paul.
was my best friend Frankie's. I hope he's watching right now.
Thank you, Frankie.
My best friend Frankie, his family owned
Yeah.
a big real estate firm in New Jersey, and they brought me in to do like flyers and their website and do videos. And it was a lot of fun. And they gave me an office, and I had a little window in there. And then I was just like, I can't sit in this office anymore.
Yeah.
I was like, it's just not for me.
So is this something that you went into college thinking, I want to do marketing?
Yeah, that's what I want to do. I was doing,
okay.
at the time, I thought I was doing what I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
And we had a great time I had a great time doing it and working with him. And it got to the point where I was just getting bored in terms of what I was doing. And I had some other clients that I was working with, but I felt that I needed to do more. And I ended up leaving.
But do more what? What does that mean, do more?
Do more with myself. I wanted to be outside. I had this, growing up, we lived in the middle of a swamp, and we didn't have cable. So I didn't get a cable TV till I was 14. So we were always outside. Me and my sisters, we had a trampoline, we had bikes, we grew up on a farm. We had 36 acres of property, and we just freaking...
In New Jersey?
In New Jersey.
How many? So you're a sibling of how many?
I'm the oldest of 3.
Oldest of 3. Yeah.
You grew up on a 36-acre swamp farm?
It was a farm. It was a farm.
Bayou?
It was a farm.
in the
Louisiana?
A farm?
No, Jersey.
An alligator farm?
So we lived in a wildlife refuge. So it was like we were surrounded by the swamp.
And now you're living in a swamp again right now.
I am. Yeah, after this flood.
It is.
After this flood.
Oh gosh.
So like we were always outside. We were always like real tan and freaking jumping on the trampoline and riding bikes. And so I ended up leaving the marketing business, and my friend Frankie, their family ended up buying out a steakhouse. They bought a steakhouse, and they asked me, they said, hey, they're like, when you were in college, didn't you work at a restaurant? And I was like, yeah, I was a waiter. I was terrible. I was a terrible waiter. I would actually lose money when I would wait tables. How? Well, that's what, a guy that's got terrible ADD shouldn't be writing stuff down.
Oh god.
So I would like get orders wrong.
Is that how you got your 94%, Jared?
And I would eat, and I would get Sundays. And then I would go home and I'd be like, I owe $32.
You went to work and it cost you money.
So yeah, it cost me money, but I had a good time.
He's like, Oh, $32.
So they opened up a restaurant, and they were like,
man.
"Come on and like be a manager for us." So I ran the restaurant. I
What was the restaurant called?
Grillstone, still open, very
Grillstone.
successful restaurant. They have three of them now.
Guys,
3
if you're in New
restaurants.
Jersey, go to Grillstone.
Is it good?
Grillstones, oh, they have great food. If you guys come out, Eric went to their new Italian spot that they just opened.
Yeah?
So if there was
Was good?
one place, if I had to come out to you guys,
What?
your cone's coming off.
Yeah.
Yeah, push your tip.
Push it down. There you go.
Grab, pinch your tip. Push. Yeah. So,
So-
if there was one place to go to eat, where would it
Grillstone.
Grillstone.
be? Okay,
Yeah,
well,
that's
that's
it.
big words.
I've taken some of my biggest clients there. Some of my biggest brand partners I've always taken there for dinner. So anyway, I ran that place for about a year, and that really burnt me out. I was just like, I can't do the nightlife. I'm an early riser. So I was closing down 3:00 in the morning, waking up at 7:30, and I did that for a year, and I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I was also doing their marketing for them, so I was doing like a lot of their advertisements and working with the different forms of media, and and then at the time I started getting into a healthier lifestyle. I stopped drinking so much. You know, you party a little bit when you're running a restaurant, drinking a little too much tequila.
Until you come out here to California,
Yeah.
and we're back.
And
back
now you're
in the ground.
drinking ciders.
And I started getting into like fitness and
Yeah.
getting healthy, and then I started. I actually started trail running. I used to run through the Watchung Reservation, which was a park by us.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, I love being outside. Like I love fresh air. I just loved being in the trees. And then my dad said to me one day, he goes, "Hey, why don't you come back? Why don't you just come and work for me for a little bit while you're looking for something else?" He goes, "I'll pay you more than you're making at the restaurant, and you come work for me." So I was like, yeah, I love it. It's exercise, you know. And, I worked with my dad when I was a kid, like when I was in high school. But my parents were always super cautious about having me around the crews. And so they would put me on stump grinding duty, and I would just chase my dad, around jobs and rake stumps.
Throwing chips.
Raking
Oh,
stumps.
man.
And it was the worst. It was like going to
Worst.
jail.
Yeah.
Like, it was like I'd rather had a sledgehammer break stones. So I just didn't like it. Like I said, I worked with my dad a lot when I was a kid, but it was never for the purpose of enjoying it. It was always for I needed a little bit of money, or I got in trouble, and they're like, "You want to work for your dad?" Or when I was really young, my mom, again, terrible ADD, hyperactive kid. My mom had 2 little ones. She'd be like, "You're going with your dad, do estimates," and he would lock me in the freaking van. While he'd go and talk he'd lock me in the van with the coloring book.
That is jail.
And say, "All right, you got to stay here for a half hour while I go talk to this lady." I go and stay there. I'm like, "Oh man, I'm never going with him again."
In the van.
In the van.
Dad, let me out. All the people, the neighbors, like, what the hell?
Help me! I'm
This
trapped
is
in
a
the
creeper
trunk.
van with
So a
kids
couple of
screaming
times-
out of it.
One time. Well, the thing was that he had a reason. He brought me to one estimate one time, and they had the dog out, and they had like a fenced-in yard, and they had a pool, and the dog ran across the pool cover. Well, I tried running across the pool cover, and I freaking fell in the pool, and the freaking guy freaked out. Needless to say, my dad didn't get that job.
Oh shoot! You didn't get the job?
No, because I fell in the freaking pool
And-
in the middle of winter.
And you just cost him a freaking $800 pool cover.
No, I was like 4 years old, so the pool cover
my
didn't
gosh.
break. It just like sunk down, and I got like really wet. So a couple times I got in trouble while I was out with Estimate Smith. Then she's like, "You gotta stay in the van." So so I ended up going to work for my dad, and I worked with him for a little while, and then we had a storm, and at the time it was like late August, and my dad, 2 of my dad's guys, his 2 climbers at the time, were taking vacation, so he only had 2 other guys working at the time, but it was on the weekend, and me and him went out and did some storm work by ourselves. So we got into his knuckle boom, and we got a phone call, or we had something.
What time of year? It was winter storm?
This was in August. This was a hurricane.
Gotcha.
And we got to this job. We got to these people's house. It was an elderly couple, and they had a black walnut tree drastically leaning on a very old above ground pool.
Yeah.
That was positioned right behind their sun porch. And if this pool were to fail, it would have flooded their entire house out. It would have gone right through the freaking porch into their house. And this tree was leaning on this pool, like ready to freaking just collapse this pool. And I was just like, at the time, I was just like, holy shit, like, how the hell are we going to get this tree off of this pool without it collapsing? And there was no access for equipment. Okay. And my dad just looked at that tree, no doubt in his mind, and he goes, grab me the pole pruner. And he grabbed the pole pruner. He made a couple of cuts, take a couple of the smaller branches that were like obstructing his view out. And then he just made about 4 like strategic cuts on this tree and grabbed a pole saw, and he yanked on the tree. And this tree, ever so gently, just collapsed and just laid on top of this pool. Flat. Okay? And then he cut the limbs off, and then we rolled the log right off the top of the pool. And I got goosebumps right now talking about this. And I was just like, that is the coolest shit that I have ever seen. Ever. Coolest shit. And I was just like, you know what? I was like, these old people have no idea what we just did.
Yeah.
And the physics and understanding fiber and trees and knowing how things are going to hold, or if they're just going to pop like a tulip tree. He knew that to cut this much percentage of that wood so that it was just going to
that moment was the moment you were like, I was like,
people need to know. People need to know about this. And that was when I realized that we need to bring this to social media. Yeah. That was when I realized.
When was this? What year was this?
This was 2010.
Gotcha. That's not that long ago.
Yeah.
I mean,
2010.
Yeah. And bringing this to, because it is, the urban communities have no freaking idea what we do in this industry. And I always tell everybody, and I've probably said it 1,000 times on this show, I mean, we're looked at as, that was their only option in life, is to climb a tree, push a lawnmower. That's it. And you got to watch something and you go, I know what my dad did. And that shit wasn't easy.
It wasn't easy. You know,
and they're just like, oh, this is what you do.
And it wasn't just hitting it on the top. It was like hitting on the side and pulling it and making sure that it broke it broke so it just slowly just settled. Coolest thing I ever saw.
So then what happened after that? You
after
seen that social media?
After that, I was just like, it was like, I just want to learn more. I want to learn more about tree work. I was like, this is what I want to do. It literally changed everything.
Yeah.
For me. And knowing how my dad carried himself like in the community, and how we joked and said, we always joke and say, my dad's like the mayor. Like, everybody knows my dad. You know, he shakes hands, he kisses the babies. You know.
Does your dad have Instagram?
My dad does. He has my Instagram on his phone, so he's able to see. He's able to see my stuff because he goes on my Instagram.
Oh man, which one? I mean, the Bad Hans.
Yeah, he has the Bad Hans on his phone. One time he posted something by accident, like a part number. I was just like, yo, what's going on here? It's like he got into the truck. It was like taking a picture of like the freaking.
Know where I can get this part?
Where can I get this axle number? You know? It was like an axle in the front of like the bucket truck.
And everybody's like, oh, I guess I'll help Hans out. I guess.
Yeah. So I started really getting into it, and we did a couple more jobs after that. Just the two of us. And like I said at the time, you know, I might have had only like a couple of years of just working here and there with him, you know, and after that, I started my dad. We got our crane, and I started running the crane shortly after that. When I still remember clear as day the day that he was like, "Why don't you hop on and you try, you try this out." And I was actually surprised that he let me do it, because he was always very cautious with what he allowed people to do.
Yeah.
You know, to no joke, my dad for years never let any of the guys sharpen their own saws.
He
said
did it
they would
all?
Never. Yeah, he sharpened every saw because he was like, no one's gonna sharpen it better than me.
So
Swear to God,
he'd work all day with everybody, go home and sharpen all their
No,
saws.
every morning he would sharpen the saws while they did other things. He'd be like, put your saw on the toolbox.
Does he still do that?
I don't know because I'm not with him anymore every day. I'm not. I wouldn't doubt it. And he also grinds all the stumps. He doesn't let anybody use a stump grinder, which is like in any other tree service, stump grinder is like the job for the
that's
guy
because
that
you
shows
left.
up late.
That's because you left. You were a stump grinder guy.
Yeah. So
No, he was the chip mover, the chip thrower.
Oh, the chip thrower.
yeah.
Oh man.
So I started operating the crane and did that for a while, and then we had a couple of storms. We had Hurricane Irene.
Yeah.
And then we had, which I swear to God, to this day, we cleaned up for a full year after that storm. Every job we were doing was storm damage, trees, chasing hangers, and bucket work, climbing, chasing hangers. It was and literally, I remember one day being like, "Oh my God, this is the last hanger that I'm gonna have to get out of a tree." And then, like a week later, we had Hurricane Sandy, and Hurricane Sandy literally just blew us away. We lost power. We didn't have power for 3 weeks. I like didn't shower, wore the same clothes every day. But Hurricane Sandy was what really gave me a presence in the industry, because by the time we had Hurricane Sandy, I was already going to conferences. I was already traveling and going to classes and learning from other people. I was already beginning to starting to have a reputation on social media. And wow, it was such a culture shock to do the work that we were doing, and it was so dangerous. It was just I slept and had nightmares about Hurricane Sandy because I was like, are we going to die tomorrow? Are we going to die tomorrow? You know? And
there's a hurricane happening right now.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, but it didn't hit directly. I mean, where did you just getting the after?
No, we just got the rain and after effect. But one of my students actually called me this morning and said that they had like a tornado or something's touched down and wiped out an area of South Jersey this morning. Shit. So it's just crazy. And like, for me, it was like you can't let the pressure of the environment that you're in cloud your mind and your approach. Yeah. So when we did have Hurricane Sandy, I said, well, we got to get home. That's like number one, right? We got to make sure that we don't do anything stupid. Making sure that we had protocols in place for when things happen, and making sure that if we needed support, that we had the support that we needed. Yeah. So we made it known to everybody that when we did show up to do the work, that there was going to be time that we needed to set up and make sure that we, in fact, were going to be attempting to remove this tree from somebody inside someone's house, without us getting hurt. You know, there was trees that were so damaging that when we were removing them, we were worried that the house or structure was going to collapse on top of us. So we were doing picks. We were doing work where we had to tie into the crane, make the cut, and then ride the piece out of the house because there was no option for tying in somewhere else. Right. So again, like if you were to bring that to OSHA would be like, yo, you can't do that. But that's the only thing you can do. It's the safest approach. So if you document that properly, you can do it. Yep. All right. As long as it's part of the plan and it's written down prior to the work, it's you planned accordingly for that. Yep. So again, like my whole approach and how I teach now is pretty much that same mindset. I try to replicate my mindset into my students so that when they're out there, they're competent and confident in the work that they're doing. So
working with your dad, running the crane, Hurricane Sandy, we're here and how many people work for your company?
For my training company?
No. For your dad's company.
Now?
Yeah.
I think three.
Three
people.
But what was it before that? When you heard 5?
When we were working, it was 6 people.
But you guys are running cranes, specialty jobs. I mean, pulling freaking trees out of houses. You ever pull a tree out of a house? Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Jared's
come on, man.
In a hurricane?
In a hurricane? My first time.
In a hurricane?
What do you mean? I mean, what's a hurricane and a storm? Same thing.
I don't
Trees
know.
on the house, trees in the house.
I'm just asking. No hurricane? Okay. So you
I
never
had to
pulled for
throat
hurricane.
check you. Yeah.
So now, I want to get to this announcement here soon.
Okay.
But I want to hear the story
So
first.
let me
Wait a minute. I want to hear. Get me to when you decided, Dad, love you, but I want to go do something else, right?
Yeah.
And that talk that you had with him, and then starting the company you have now,
Yeah.
getting out, and then I want to hear that announcement.
All right, so let me just bring you up to speed from Hurricane Sandy to that point. So after Hurricane Sandy, again, like I said, I was still doing a lot of the stuff on social, right? But
Yeah.
back then, there wasn't a lot of people. There wasn't any tree guys on Instagram. So I had like my core group of dudes. Who I'm gonna give a shout out to: Tree Guy Ricky and Marcus Timberwolf. You guys are like the OGs. Ace,
What's up, Marcus?
Tree Lawn. We had Brad Hudson. Like we started that stuff. Travern Trees. We were chatting for years before a lot of people came to the table with that stuff. And back then it wasn't about like the glory of like putting stuff out there. It was like I posted a picture of my job site and we would like audit each other and be like, yo, this is what you should be doing. This is what you shouldn't be doing. We did it to teach each other. And then that just grew, you know? So all the other stuff, like I said, led up to...
No, you were on the social media, before I ever got into it with any tree company on it. You were the mark. You were the bar. You set the bar in the whole industry on this stuff, man. And I would follow you, and I would get frustrated. I'm like, how the hell does he make these cool-ass posts? And I had to figure it out and click buttons, but I still can't make the posts you make. I mean, you posted this cool little mic post with the Instagram logo, New Jersey Crane, Academy Train.
I literally
and
did
half
that
the day I've been trying to Google how to do that shit. And
I'll teach you.
Oh man, you got to teach me everything.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm a conference speaker, So I used to I've been doing it for a long time, and I've been working with brand partners for probably close to 9-10 years now. So I even did like a whole content creation seminar like at Tree Stuff back when they were in Indianapolis, and people drove from all over and paid $400 to come to this class. I was like, who paid $400 to come see me talk about taking pictures?
Me.
And at that time, I mean, I was like really cruising. Like I was a real rock star back then.
You're still a rock star.
I realized that what I realized was I didn't have to work so hard at the social end, and I can realistically survive off of the fumes of my reputation. So I really slowed down after 2016, 2017, to the point where I was posting 3-4 times a day down to posting once a week.
Yeah.
And I'm still getting the engagement that I was. Now I'm not growing as fast, but I don't need to grow. I have my people. You know, I have I have the people that I have, and if there's more people want to come into my circle, to see what's going on with me, by all means,
you
you're
have
welcome.
almost 15,000 people following you.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
a shit ton.
it could be more, but it doesn't matter.
An 1,800 post.
Which is
That's a lot.
nothing. Which is
Nothing?
Very little. Yes,
like a lot.
it is very little. That's over a long span. There's people that have 5 to 10,000 posts, but it was always a matter. It wasn't a matter of volume. It was a matter of quality of the post.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure if I was putting stuff out there, it made people feel a certain way. That was what it was about to me. So anyway, let's speed up to now.
I just want to. Who's that guy?
That's me and my dad.
Oh my gosh, that's his
Look
dad.
at-
Everybody, if
what a
everybody can see
baby.
from there,
Yeah.
that's his dad. Still out there, freaking.
How old were you right there?
That was last year.
That was not last year. 10 years ago. So I was
Wow.
25.
Wow, so this is right when you got in.
No, I was in for a little bit already.
Hurricane. Okay.
Yeah. I would say I was already doing the work for a year, maybe a year and a half.
That's awesome.
Dude, I was
I didn't
like,
even recognize you with the
I
beard,
know.
no beard, and
this was before I met my wife, and I would go out to bars and like show girls me climbing trees. I'd be like, yo, she's like, what do you do? I'm like, yo, you gotta see these pictures I got.
Look at
Well, the
me.
first time I met you, you were showing me those pictures.
And it was like unbelievable. Like nobody took pictures in the tree. That's literally how I got famous.
Uh-huh.
It was like pairing a passion with a skill. So I was a tree guy that took pictures, which
Yeah.
was like unheard of back then.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
you were saying that some of the people, I mean, they didn't even know what a GoPro was. They were like, "What is this
So
thing?
yeah,
How
so
do you
in
use it?"
2015, I got nominated and won the TCI Professional Communications Award.
Yeah.
I flew to the Grand Caymans to accept my award, and they did a whole really cool talk about me and showed some of my stuff, and I went and accepted my award. And afterwards, I had some of the richest dudes, like bigwigs of the industry, come up to me and be like, tell me more. Tell me about this device you have. And I'm like, what device? Because I don't do it anymore, but I used to carry 5 or 6 cameras with me wherever I went.
Yeah.
They're like, what's that? Because I would have it on a clip. I had it in my backpack. They're like, what is that? And I'm like, no, that's a GoPro. I was like, it's been around probably freaking 10 years already.
GoPro too.
It was like a GoPro. It was a GoPro HD. It was like the first,
Yeah.
it was like the first one that was
That's so
1080p.
funny.
Yeah.
That's
And that was like
funny.
so cool back then. And
Oh, man.
so I was just like, man, like I was just like, this industry, like nobody knows what technology is. You know, nobody knew what a GoPro was. So I was doing stuff that I didn't think was like the coolest thing, but it worked, and I was coming up with concepts. To this day, I'll challenge anybody. I can put a GoPro on anything. I can mount it and put it in the coolest spots. I've put them inside the chipper. I
I want to ask like 1,000 questions, but
Yeah.
I'll save this
I
after
can
the
put
show.
I can put GoPro any place.
No.
And
What?
what?
Wait. Huh?
So let's speed up to now. I got a phone call back in 2017 from a good friend of mine named Travis Vickerson, who, if you guys don't know, please call Travis Vickerson. He refuses to be on social media, so call him, or I'll give you his number. I'm not
Yeah,
going
can
to
we
do it
just-
now.
We'll just post it out here. We'll
Get
just post
Travis
it out here.
Vickerson more into social media. He hates it. Anyway,
What's his Instagram?
he doesn't have one.
What?
He has no Facebook
my
and no
gosh.
Instagram. He's just like, it's too much drama for him.
Oh
So
man.
anyway, Vickerson is like the best. I love him.
Uh-huh.
And he actually is part of the ANSI committee. He's really deeply rooted in the industry at the political level. Okay. He called me and said that he was working with the company. They were looking for arborists to come on as experts in the crane field, the mobile crane field, and the only person that he could think of to bring on was me. And he's like, would you be interested in teaching? And I was like, sure. And he goes, do you have any teaching experience? And at the time, the only thing I ever taught was I got recruited, or I got asked by a friend of mine, Mike Lasapio. I hope you're watching, Mike, who was the fire chief at the local fire department, and asked if I could come in and do a chainsaw safety class, because they work off of a freeway, and a lot of times cars go off the freeway and they need to gain access to the vehicle. Can you come and do a chainsaw class? So I went and taught the class, and I loved it. I felt so good. I prepped for it. I wrote up a whole agenda. I really made a big thing out of it, and they really enjoyed it. And I met with a lot of younger kids and who were EMTs and like in high school, and some of them I think still follow me on Instagram. I see once in a while they pop up, and I'm like, oh, you still follow me? Awesome. So I ended up talking to this company, and they wanted me to come on board as an arborist expert, expert. And it took about 6 months of like negotiating, and finally they agreed to my terms. And I showed up, and I was like, all right, when do we start writing the curriculum? They're like, there is no curriculum. We have a book. You're just going to teach this book. And I'm like, all right, like I'll teach that book, whatever. I thought you were going to hire me. I thought you were hiring me to put together like a crane program for tree workers. And they're like, yeah, you're going to be training tree care companies. Like we certify crane companies, but we want to get into the tree care market.
Yeah.
So we want you to here for it, but you're going to teach it from our book. whatever. I negotiated to write the book, so I was getting paid the rate that I wanted to do the work that I thought I was going to do. It ended up being pretty.
So the whole time you were negotiating for 6 months,
It was
to write a book, and then you came in. They're like, "No, we got the book. We just want
Correct.
you to read it and teach it."
correct. So
And
it
you're
was
like,
it was a lot easier than I thought.
This negotiation would have went
What?
way faster.
So
Oh my
correct.
gosh.
So I started. I went through the training process. I
Yeah.
became a NCCR accredited NCCR practical examiner, nationally accredited instructor for mobile cranes. It took about over a month, which I'm jealous because Eric went through it earlier this year for me, and it took him a week because it was all virtual. I had to travel all over the country when I had to do it, and it took me forever. And
This guy.
I got my first training contract through a public utility company where I had to go out to Long Island for 5 weeks and certify these guys who had no business wanting to run cranes at all.
Oh man.
It was probably the worst experience as a trainer.
Yeah.
But it was my first experience, so I had to overcome it. Obviously, Tree Guy, we don't take no for an answer. So what could we do to make this happen? I was always a man.
Why'd they want to have their city employees learn how to run?
Because there was a major change in the requirements for operating cranes at the time. So there was a regulation that was put into place that required the type of equipment that they used to have a certification to back the work that they were doing.
So what kind of preparation did you do prior to coming in? This was your first class?
Yeah, so I didn't do any preparation because at the time they told me I was going to be shadowing somebody.
Oh gosh.
So they
You
said,
were
yeah,
teaching it.
They said, yeah, we're going to send you with somebody to
Yeah.
kind of help you out. And I showed up there. I was like, where is my trainer? They said, you are the trainer.
Oh my
But for me, being in the industry and dealing with challenges, I
Yeah.
said, all right, this is just another challenge that I have to overcome to get through
Yeah.
to get the job done. So I did that. And my first class, I had 10 people take my class, and out of the 10 people, 8 passed. And I was like, yo, that's not bad. That's not bad for my first
80%.
time. 80%, you
Yeah.
know. And the 2 guys that didn't pass only missed it by a little bit. It wasn't like
Okay.
they completely bombed. And to be honest, like they weren't really in it anyway to
Yeah.
want to pass.
Yeah.
So I was happy with that. And I realized after that class that I needed to have more answers. I needed to be ready for when certain things came across me. So I went back to my hotel and I would work a lesson plan. And I was like, this is what I'm going to talk about when this comes up, and this is what I'm going to talk about when that comes up. And I ended up redoing the entire book
Yeah.
to make it work for me. And saying, this is how I want to teach it. This is the message. This is the message I need to get across. Even though this is the material, I need to make sure that they're going to retain that information. So I started changing things, and I started making sure that how I projected that message was able to resonate with them.
Yeah.
Even though they didn't
Yeah.
want to be there. So I kind of felt like I was a therapist.
Yeah.
Because I had to really pump people up in order just to get them to the point where then I could start teaching.
Yep.
So I had to talk about how great of an opportunity was for them to go through this process, and how they don't have to pay for it, and how their employer is paying for it, and I got people excited. You know,
You got their mind right before the class.
Because it was like a utility company.
Yeah.
You had to deal with the utility nonsense.
Yeah.
One day I was literally writing like something up on the board, and I turned around and everybody was gone because they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, 11:15 is coffee time. We have to leave." And they literally left.
Yeah.
Walked out of class. So then I realized, I was like, shit, like if they need coffee, I'll bring fucking coffee because I need them here. So the next day I showed up with freaking coffee for everybody. They said,
Smart.
no leaving.
Yeah.
We got time. We got to get this done.
Yeah.
And I was like, if you guys listen, tomorrow I'll bring you donuts.
Yeah.
So they're like, donuts? They're like, nobody buys us donuts. We can't even get donuts from the boss. I'll freaking bring you donuts. Cost me freaking $10 for a box of donuts.
Yeah, I'm only
So I was
gonna
like,
bring
so
it to you
for
for 2 days, not
$10
every day.
So then I started bringing donuts every day. That's what I did. And then I started bringing coffee every day, and people were like, "Man, like, thank you." What was that? $30 for me, for peace of mind, and for people to pay attention.
Yeah.
It made my life easier,
Right.
and speed up to now. Now I
Yeah.
freaking all my classes are fully catered.
Yeah.
Oh.
Breakfast and lunch every freaking class.
There's a fireplace, and there's. I was jealous. I mean, I'm looking at all this stuff, and I went in the morning. I'm like, oh, this is cool. Let me open their book. Oh man, they got this nice music playing. It was nice.
Yeah. So I really like to set the mood in my classes.
I like the fire thing.
What
The music.
You didn't like the smooth jazz?
Yeah. No, it was
It
good.
made me
The
feel like
love-making music?
it made me feel like I was on the phone with an operator, and she's like, had me on hold, and I'm like, put me on hold another second. I'm
You
gonna throw my
got a
phone across the room.
94%. Okay,
Had
the
nothing to do with the
method
music.
works. The fireplace, the
I'm not
donuts,
gonna lie.
the
It
coffee.
I realized very quickly that tree guys just haven't taken tests in a long time. They haven't sat in a
Yeah.
classroom in a long time.
Yeah.
The oldest student I've ever had was 70 years old,
Holy shit.
and he passed. And I was like, if you
He
can pass,
died?
what?
He died?
He didn't die. No, he passed.
Oh, he passed the
test.
exam.
No.
I'm like,
No.
and he passed on you. I'm
passed.
like, you killed him? Was it the music?
No. So,
What a
so
dick.
what I
What a
realized,
dick.
what
gosh.
I realized after weeks, for me, I always refine my process. I learn stuff from students, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I got to put that in my program next time. I got to add this. And I always was looking to improve. It wasn't just regurgitating regulations and standards. It was experience and how we connect those dots and why this is important. Not just black and white, yes or no, shall or shall, should or
Yeah.
shall, there's a lot more to it than
Yeah.
that. So what I realized was that experience, how people feel in the moment of learning, made such an improvement, where I was going from having a mid 80s pass average to having a pass average above 90. And what was the lowest score today? 90. The lowest
really?
score was a 90 today.
Wow.
Oh, man, poor
Okay.
Brian.
Yeah.
No, just joking. Brian's just joking, man. I don't know if that's you. He's on here, so I had to fuck with him.
So I take the work that I do very seriously, and I am a planner. Victory loves preparation. I prep. The work that I did in the field. I say the tree work. If you are a tree worker, you literally could take the challenges and the goals and how you attack a tree and take that into any aspect of life. And if you follow those steps, you will be successful. Okay? Just like today I said, we are always going to eliminate the easy stuff first so that we can focus on the difficult.
Oh, man.
So when you fell a tree, you obviously want to make sure that you gain access, you can escape. You're not going to just go in there and start cutting. You're going to make sure you prep the area. You're going to make sure you keep people out. There's a lot of
5-part plan. Correct.
So it's the same thing for when you're going into a situation where people are like, "Oh, I'm not good at taking tests." Jared Abergina. If I had $1 for every time somebody said that to me,
I'm just saying, you're like, you did it, man. It was I believe that it was your class that got me through that, because a lot of the stuff I've been doing for so long, but all the little bits and pieces and the way you present it, gosh, I mean, it sticks. And that's and like every question I read was like, yep, he said it. Yep, got it. I'm like,
no, let me ask you though. In the class, I hate him.
what's that?
I hate him. Oh my gosh! I hate him so much because he went and put the same shirt on I did.
Mine's got red.
Oh gosh, never mind. I'm never gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. Please fail him, somebody.
all right, I'm on to my
he's
third.
been run-
I'm on to my third.
You're
what's this
killing it.
place called again?
Golden State Cider.
Golden State Cider.
See, I would
If you guys
try
are-
that, but
If you guys
I
are
hate
looking for a
pineapple.
brand partner, reach out to me. We can have you in every New Jersey Crane
So
Expert class.
let me say, we're gonna when you decided you're gonna start your company, hey, you know what? How do you feel right now before we get into starting New Jersey Crane Experts, talking about where you are, doing some shout outs to everybody, and then closing out? you wanna do the announcement? Because
let's do the announcement.
I'm too
It's
excited.
just on my head. All right.
Let's do the announcement.
So let's do this first, guys. You guys are listening to this online. I don't know what you got to do. Can you share this? Tag people. Let's get this up. We're gonna do a big announcements on live right now on Instagram. So anybody we can tag and get on right now, let's get them on. So. Let's give them a couple.
This, please.
Yes, let's give it a couple
Peeps,
minutes. Start texting all that.
My advocates.
Hit the little
this.
airplane underneath. Let's
Share,
click it all. Invite everybody to get on this
that's what that
show.
does?
Let's get this up so we can give this announcement here for this. Yeah, you can share to people. Are you sharing?
I have no idea.
Hit the little airplane in the bottom right, and then click on everybody you want to share to.
Tag your friends.
There's no like a all.
No, you can't click all. You just got to click a few people. There you go. Tag your friends. Tag them all.
Let's go, Antonio. Tag us.
Let's go. Thank you, Joe. No, Joe's like, do the announcement. I tagged one person. Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Oh man.
No,
go.
I'm really excited to bring you guys in on this because this is something that I've been wanting to do ever since I started becoming a trainer, and I actually positioned this. What I'm doing now, I actually positioned it to the company who I was working for before I started my own company, and they were not interested in it at all. They were like, we're good at what we're doing now. We're comfortable, and we don't think that that's really gonna what I'm gonna be doing is gonna be effective to where they want to go.
And what company was this that said that?
I'm not gonna say.
Oh, gotcha.
So they're great. They are a great company, great people, but they just weren't. They weren't aligned with the growth that I wanted. And when I did leave, I left on really good terms, and I told them that I would stay if they were to offer me something that made it worth me to stay. And they said that I was beyond that for them. I outgrew them, and they understood. So and that's why I started. That's why I started my business, because I know where our industry should be. Like I can literally I see it, and I want others to see that too.
Yeah,
I really do, because I'm really proud of the work that I do, and I'm proud of my industry, and I think it's really shitty that people consider us the same as like the guy that picks up the trash. They think we're a bunch of barbarians, and that we're a bunch of gypsies, and that we're just doing it to get day to day, which
Ooh, you hear the background music? If everybody's listening, we got a band in the back that we're about to go out there. So if you hear
Victor
music
says you
playing,
guys got an echo.
Yeah, and it just
we got an echo. It's probably you got the headphones plugged in there.
Yeah.
Got an echo. Shit.
Oh,
Okay.
how's that? Is that better?
Are you effing kidding me? You had your fucking volume on the whole time.
Is that
The whole time. You never mute any. Oh my gosh.
Jared.
Oh gosh. It's gonna be called One Tree Guy. I'm gonna change that number 2 to 1. Gosh. The whole time I keep hearing that stuff, and I don't want to stop the damn podcast because of it. Go pee before this announcement.
Yeah.
Huh? This is embarrassing.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, everybody.
All right, I want to get a couple more people. Hey, the guys that are on
Oh, my
Facebook
God.
right now, since 2 guys drinking beers doesn't do Facebook.
Joe thought we were
Facebook
talking about
people
the
share
Echo
this.
chainsaw. He's like, an
No.
Echo chainsaw? Oh man, I thought so too. I'm like, oh, he's an Echo guys. Okay,
No.
Echo chainsaw.
Let me tell you something. We're gonna bring this home right now, because I know how badly Phil wants to end this on the hour.
No, we're good. We're gonna keep going here.
We just got
since
$400
half
of
the-
sushi sitting
Oh
over
my
there. That's what it is.
Oh yeah, I can't wait.
Oh my gosh, Joe. Oh man. Okay.
Anyway, let's talk about
Let's
what's
do it.
about to happen.
What do we got?
All right. So, what I did was I bought one of the first mobile simulator units in the industry, so that people who have no experience running cranes will have the opportunity to hop on a machine without any risk and train to become a mobile crane operator.
No freaking way.
That's the freaking thing you were showing me, weren't you?
Yes.
Trying to act like it was your damn camper.
Yes.
I'm like, why is a camper a semi-truck?
Yeah.
That doesn't... Okay, tell us
did
more
I-
about
now,
this.
Not only did I buy one, I bought 2 of them.
What?
Yeah, and they are not cheap at all. Literally,
So how does this
probably
work?
as expensive as my house.
Tell me more. Tell me more about it. How does this work?
So these are military grade simulators. After about 40 logged hours in the simulator, you can go out and run a crane.
No freaking way.
So, and what really pushed me to get this was back during COVID, we got dozens of phone calls from people who lost their jobs and said, we want to start fresh. We want to get into a skilled trade. Can you teach me how to run a crane? And I said, I can't unless you're with me, following me around as like an apprentice. I can't teach you how to run a crane. I can get you certified. I can put you through the program. I can teach you what I know, but I can't give you the stick time that you're going to need. Okay.
Huh.
So this simulator is going to give, these simulators are going to give people the opportunity to get real training in a simulation environment that's modularized. So it has training requirements like a game. So you would step learn up to a certain difficulty.
Wow.
Okay.
So how?
Not only is it for cranes, but I have a knuckle boom program. Okay, so it's mobile crane and knuckle boom. So you'll be able to run a remote control knuckle boom in the simulator. You'll also be able to run a feller buncher for forestry and harvesting.
Wow.
And we can also do like excavators and bulldozers and drive. There's a steering wheel you can drive.
Senebogen?
This was made for the military.
This was made for. This was really this, and the company that I'm working with is the leader in this. And I experienced this when I became a trainer. So I went and got certified as an instructor. I went to this training school down in Georgia, Crane Industry Services, Debbie Dickinson. They are the best. They are
What's the company called?
Crane Industry Services. Debbie Dickinson, who is like the crane, the crane queen. She's the best. She's like a bigwig in the crane industry. And she's my master trainer. She was the one who I answered to as an instructor in the crane mafia.
She's kind of the godmother.
Yeah. So I got the blessing and from the crane mafia.
Wow.
Anyway, so when I went down there, we went through our program, and then they're like, "Do you want to run this? Do you want to try the simulator?" I'm like, "You got a simulator?" And I hopped on this freaking simulator.
It was legit.
And it was so legit. It blew my mind, and I was just
That
like,
good.
it was there. So
Now,
now,
is
now-
this like a 10x10?
now
or
the simulator that they have, and the simulators that a lot of like the unions have that are similar to this, these are simulators that are placed inside of like a room or an office. Mine are going to be built inside of a trailer, so that I can travel around the country and be able to offer this to anybody who's willing to want to come and do that. So
I mean, it's. He showed me a picture. He's like, "Oh, look what I just bought," and I'm like, "Dang, that's a big camper. It's like a freaking semi truck of a camper." I mean,
Yeah, I've seen it.
if I was gonna buy a camper, I'd just buy a little camper. And it's funny. Later, I was thinking of that. I'm like, I wonder why. He must have just got a really good
this
deal.
This is going to be the first for tree care, period.
Yeah.
And the work that I'm doing to develop the current programs that they have to bring real tree care aspects and scenarios to the industry is going to be unmatched. I'm probably about 5 years ahead of anybody else who's looking to do this right now.
Holy shit!
Yep. And
Now you're gonna have 2 of them.
I am
So
going to have 2.
who's taking the other one on the road?
They're both going to be in the same trailer, so that we could
Gotcha.
do two at once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So we bought a curved screen one, which is a single screen, and then we bought one that's 3 screens. So it's like you're inside of like you're in it.
You're in it.
And then I want to put a massage chair in there.
There we go.
Just for you.
What about
And-
the fire
and-
pit? Are you gonna get
and,
electric fire?
I would
fire
love I would
place?
love to figure out how to put a fish tank in there, but I don't know how that would do with travel.
He's got 2 guys simulating him and a lazy boy with a fire.
Well, the way that we're gonna have it set up is that it's all gonna be like we'll be able to deliver the trailer. You'll be able
Yeah.
to lease it from us, and then we will satellite we'll be able to satellite get you set up. So we wouldn't even have to be there. You literally show up, we'll get you in the chair, we'll talk you through how to do that, and you don't have to do anything else.
Where are you launching this? Where's the first place?
So we are right now. It's getting built in Montreal right now, and we are going to be.
So it's gonna be brand new.
It's going to be brand new, and we are going to be delivering it straight to the TCI Expo.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, buddy.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Right on
Yeah,
the back.
buddy.
I'm gonna change my
and,
booth.
and we're
I
going to
need
be
right
hauling
by
it
you.
in. We're going to be hauling
Because
it.
nobody's going to be walking around the trade show. They're all
No.
going to be at your booth.
And if you want right now, if you go to NewJerseyCraneExpert.com/simulator, you can sign up and reserve a spot for a 10-minute demo right now.
I'm in.
Right
You better-
now,
you better
we
sing your
have.
spot.
What is
we are-
it? Okay. Let's New Jersey.
NewJerseyCraneExpert.com
You guys hearing
/simulator,
this?
and you can register and pick a time slot to come and get a demo at the trade show. We have a 10 by 70 booth. Okay, we have an entire aisle, and we're going to be hauling it in on a 100-ton knuckle boom.
No way.
So I will have the most expensive rig in the entire trade show because it's going to
my
be about a
gosh.
$900,000 unit.
Holy
Wow.
shit, dude! Are you just stoked?
I am so pumped.
I'm pumped.
I'm so pumped.
I'm pumped. So wait,
I can't wait.
So you're delivering. Everybody's going to have times to come, but we're going to be there early, and you're going to be set up before everybody else comes. So we need to get in line first
Yeah. 100%,
and run this.
100%. So, and again, like I said, what's really great is that people don't have to come to me anymore. We can go to you. We can come out and give you that training. And what's awesome, what's really awesome about how it works
Wow.
is that if your business has a qualification program as operators, not
Man.
only just being certified, but if you have an annual qual program, you can come out and do that whole qual program right on the simulator. It will literally print you your training certificate right out of the machine.
Uh-huh.
So and
That's
give
legit.
you all the it gives you everything you need to know in regards to getting that status.
Let me just say,
That is legit.
innovator, right
I
there, man.
appreciate that.
Innovator.
And that's just the beginning because I'm working on a couple other projects right now that are going to take it even further besides the simulator. In terms of
Legit.
stepping it up, in
I'm
terms
already-
of bringing useful technology to a old school industry that's practical and still works and is not going to overwhelm the industry.
Everybody just listening, do these kind of things. I mean, this is something in our industry that's needed, but it's an old, archaic industry, I like to say, and everybody's scared to make the freaking move. It ain't going to work because we haven't done it before, but it's going to be a picture of Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, and Hans Tielmann. I mean, I feel it right now. In our industry, you are the Elon Musk of the industry.
It's not even that hard to do, though.
Oh,
You know why? Because, like I told you, me and Phil, if you guys don't know, I ran into Phil at World of Concrete in Vegas, and he's like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I'm looking for ideas.
Yeah.
I literally can go to any other industry and say, this is cool. Let me bring it to tree care.
And you showed me, it was right next to your guys' booth. It was the
that little concrete jackhammer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you can break down walls and everything. It's all remote
and
control.
keep the body out of the,
That was cool.
out of harm's way.
Yeah. That was really cool.
We actually picked up a couple new brand partners from that show because of some of the stuff that they're bringing to the industry in terms of hydraulics and equipment and safety. And like I said, just bringing that to the table for tree care, having the platform and the voice that I have.
Yeah.
When I like something, I want to make sure that the industry knows about that. You know?
Well, I want to talk a little bit about your business. Okay. How do people sign up? When are you having classes? How much does this cost? All this stuff. I mean, what are you teaching in these classes? How long does it take? Because there's questions that are popping up on here, and people want some more information.
So right now we have no classes scheduled for the East Coast because of storm season.
Gotcha.
Our next class, the next class that's not sold out, is going to be in California in Paradise with Eric Palacios. We're doing a 4-day class, bilingual class. So if you struggle with reading in English as your first language, we will literally sit there and read it to you in English and in Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because we're patient. We want to make sure that people who want to be there are going to get the help that they need.
Yeah.
So that is our next open class here. I have I'm also doing a CERT class at TCI Expo, pre-conference CERT class. I'm working with TCI on. And then the next Jersey class is going to be the week after at my place. So we'll have classes out there. I'm going to be speaking. I'm doing a pre-conference class for Arbor Expo next week. You guys are also going to be there.
Yes,
so I'm excited.
Yes.
So hopefully we get to have a couple of beers together. Over there.
A couple ciders.
If I'm not, if I don't have too many appointments. Yeah, I mean, I'm always doing stuff. And then for some of you guys who don't know, we really perfected a program that I'm really proud to say is working really well in our industry. If you guys don't know how much knuckle booms are really taking over in tree care in terms of taking trees down with grapple saw trucks. We put together a very robust operator development curriculum that has taken the learning curve of grapple saw training from 6 weeks down to a week. So we can get you up and running as a confident operator within a week of training that we do. And we work directly with manufacturers, specifically BIK Hydraulics out of Toronto.
Yeah.
They actually brought us on as their exclusive training partner. So anytime you buy a BIK Hydraulics truck, that training is included in the price of the sale. So they pay us directly. We go out and we will train you on every aspect from operations, safety, maintenance, and inspection.
Which in the industry,
and you get CEUs because we applied for CEUs for that.
It doesn't exist in training equipment. I mean, all these big manufacturers are out there. They have no training on how to use this and perform this. They'll teach you how to work the controls, but they're not teaching you how to piece out a tree.
Nope, and they don't want to. They want nothing to do with that because of the liability.
So someone buying one of these machines, I mean, you're just like, okay, I got a lot of YouTube videos I need to watch, and I'm going to try to perform this by myself.
The thing is with the YouTube videos, they make it look so easy, and it is once you become aware of it.
Once you go through my class,
but it's a rude awakening.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now that I would say more than half of our clients right now aren't even tree people. They're literally buying these trucks because they've seen them on the road, all right, and they're like, "This is a service I want to offer." Right? So we're teaching people who have no tree experience how to cut down trees, and to think that they were going to buy this truck without the training blows my mind. They're spending $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 on an investment that could potentially not work out at all.
Wow.
But here's the cool part is that once you know how to run it, that machine will make you money. 100%. All right, pay itself off because of how much you can really do with that.
Well, hats off to BIK.
Yeah,
I mean, for putting that into their program and seeing that.
We actually just certified their entire sales staff. Last week I was out there, certified all their in-house mechanics.
Yeah.
Because they know their stuff, and I was like, put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to work with them because they're willing to make those changes because they want to be the best.
Right.
They do.
That's awesome.
They're not closed-minded. They're not they're not saying anything, but they want to make a statement and bring their product to a market that deserves it.
And they're out of Toronto, huh?
And let me do this a recap of. I mean, I really didn't know you were going to say this because you didn't tell me. And you were like, I think I might have told you. And I'm like, shit, maybe I forgot. No, you didn't tell me that.
I didn't tell you, right?
I would have remembered that. I would have remembered that for everything. So, one, thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you for being an innovator in our industry in the training side, in trying new things and taking risk, coming into this industry, going out, growing up in it, going out, being a restaurant manager, having to pay to be a restaurant manager.
No, that was when I was a waiter.
A waiter.
I used to drink. I used to drink gallons of milk, gallons.
Your dad always had quality over money.
100%.
And during that time, it was probably something you just didn't really pay much attention to, or you did, and it kind of stuck with you because that class, you offered quality
100%.
over money. I mean, that class probably should be triple than what it was for what they're getting out of that class, especially when you have Mr. Abergina getting the highest score that he's ever gotten his whole life. National treasure, the wizard of Concord. Concord, California
Why aren't you guys drinking?
I'm drinking.
I don't know if
here.
I could drink another one of these, man.
Oh my gosh! Someone give him a Bud Light. There's a Red Bull.
You know what's bad when
Jared
you get to the point
drank
where
too much champagne today.
No, I didn't have a single drink, and it's bad when I don't have a drink in my hand because it's that bad.
And to that moment of getting into the industry, hearing about your dad, building a business, in 1976, having one of the first knuckle booms around, and just thinking, this is what my dad does. To that time with Mrs. Johnson, or whatever her name was, the old couple that watched him do something. You watched him be a master, be an engineer, and take down a tree over that pool. You just knew right away, like, this is cool.
America.
But you needed to get it out to the world because people didn't know how cool that was. To taking that, getting a GoPro, being in a tree, taking pictures in the tree, having some of the smartest, richest tree company owners that are out there blowing their minds because you invented the GoPro. I mean, that's what they're thinking. What is this little black box you created, and how are you changing that? To running the crane and deciding that you're going to build your own crane company and becoming, no doubt, probably the industry leader in America when it comes to training crane.
100%.
Absolutely. In a short time, very short time.
Short.
I mean, I remember you pulling your wagon around the TCI Expo.
Last year. 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is where I got this hat.
Yeah.
And you're passing out shirts and that, and you were just going to make something happen. You didn't give a shit. You were just going to make something happen. I'm like,
I was, as TCI would say, I was suitcasing the place.
You
Because I didn't pay to be a vendor. I was like, I'm just going to sneak in here and give out free
you
stuff.
had a wagon.
That's why they're mad at me.
A wagon. You were pulling around with the shirts, and
Who
you
needs
pulled
a
out.
booth?
And
I
I
got
just
a
want to
wagon.
say, if anybody got a shirt during that show, I got a special shirt because you pulled out at the bottom. You were handing out these other shirts, but you pulled out a special shirt that I have that I wear. It's really nice. It's a nice
weird.
shirt.
He does some weird shit in that thing too. I'd feel weird.
That's
around.
okay. For that shirt, I'll take it. I'll take it on there. So, building America's best training institute for cranes, knuckle booms, and now to take it to another level. Being the industry leader, you're putting yourself, like you said, 5 years out from anybody to even catch up to you on this stuff. And not just one, but 2 simulators that you have. And you're going to be launching at the TCI trade show. If there was more people in there, I would do a standing ovation right now for you, my friend. I would do a standing ovation.
You should do it by yourself.
You know what? I'm going to do it.
Oh, here we go.
Ovation.
Excuse my friend. Wow.
Everybody sees
Thank you.
Oh, man. This is,
No, but man, hats off to you, Hans.
I'm excited.
Really, man. I mean, you got to come out here. You taught at the academy.
I did. I'm
You
coming back.
inspired
I
people.
can't wait to come back.
I wish you would have drove the freaking simulator out here.
I can't
Damn
wait.
you.
I can't wait for my basement to dry, and I'm booking my plane ticket coming back.
gosh.
We're coming. We're gonna do
Man.
something.
You didn't say you're just booking a ticket. You said you're moving out here.
But here's the next surprise. Jared's coming to Jersey to teach a class with me.
Oh shit! Who wants
We
to
talked.
hear Jared?
We whispered in each other's ear this day. I was like, Jared, you gotta come. You gotta come to my place. I got a perfect class for you to teach.
Jared, come to my class.
you know me. I'm down. Just keep me out of the snow.
Oh man. So
Fine.
let me. The people that are listening to this, I mean, you're inspiring people out there, right? Because there's somebody that's listening to this right now or going to listen to it. It might be 5 years down the road that they just say, what's this stupid Two Tree Guys podcast? They click on it, they listen to it, and your words are going to inspire someone today, okay? What do you want to tell the people in the industry, the people listening today, inspirational, something that just helps them change their life better going forward?
What I have to say is that figure out what you're good at and build off of that. Okay? So if you're good at something, whatever it is, it could be the smallest thing. If you're good at it, build off of that. If you are gonna, if you're like, this is what I want to do, and you're not good at it, sure, you can try and do things that you're break out of your comfort zone, but always pivot off of something that you know that you can do. I never taught anything. I've never felt comfortable teaching things that I didn't know. All right, but guess what? As you teach, you learn more. But I always focused everything off of what I did know. The knowledge that I have wasn't stuff that I just read out of a book. Okay, there's no faking it when it comes to training. All right, so if you're good at something, if you're a good raker, all right, you rake until your freaking arms fall off, and then you say, hey, I want to run this chipper, all right, and you work towards that, all right, but you're always going to work off of something that you have to work off of something that you are good at. You can't just try and jump into something that you're not good at, right? Unless you have the opportunity to do that.
I think you're very persistent too. So it's like you got to have that passion and be persistent in,
Yeah.
Without that, it's just like,
if you're good at something, freaking do it.
What you just said is such truth, because a lot of people will say, find your passion and do that.
You can find your passion once you're good at it.
Yeah, I'm passionate about fishing, but I'm not the greatest fisherman out there.
You
I'm
suck.
better than Jared, but I'm not the greatest fisherman. But what you said there was find what you're good at, right?
Yeah.
Find what you're good at and build off that. Then it starts kind of forming into a passion from that.
Because nobody really knows what they want to do. I was telling you guys earlier, I got a D in public speaking in college. A D. All right? The lady was like, you're terrible. That's just what I do now. I spoke last year or 2 years ago in front of 500 people. They had to close the doors. They couldn't let more people in.
Oh, my God.
I think you misunderstood. I think she said you got great D, and you're like, I got a D? Like, no, you got great D.
Oh, my gosh.
Keep drinking.
Sorry, everybody. No, but that's great advice, It's not find your passion. Find what you're really good at, guys, because
really good at.
everybody's good at something, and build off that. Find it,
That's
build
it.
off it for that.
People want to try and be other people. Just be you and do the best that you can do in what you're good at.
Yep.
And it will all work off of that,
Well, everybody, if you want to be crane certified, go to NewJerseyCraneExperts.com. Follow the Bad Hans. Follow New Jersey Crane. Sign up for a class. Go visit them in New Jersey or California or wherever you may be.
We'll come to you. We do
that's
private
it, yeah.
classes.
Yeah, if you guys are in this area, hit us
have-
up and we'll schedule one out with you guys and bring you back out here and do this again.
We have 7. I have 7 trainers. 7, and they're all people active in the field still. So nobody is. Well, I'm the only one that doesn't do tree work full time anymore. Everybody else is certified, and all my trainers are certified arborists.
That's awesome.
So we are real field workers.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So go online, sign up at TCI Trade Show. Go to the trade show. Sign up for your spot. And I don't know, maybe if you show up a day early before the show opens and you can come there, they'll maybe let you in and try it out. I don't know. I'm just saying that because I'm going to do that. So thank you, everybody. Hans, thank you, man. Cheers, brother. Thank you for being on the show today.
I love it.
I appreciate it. To all our listeners that are out there right now, if that aren't drinking and driving, because we're sitting on the podcast drinking, but to all our listeners out there, if you guys want to be on the show, and you want to get on here with us in person or through Zoom, go online, fill out the questionnaire. We're going to read through it, post videos, post pictures, post whatever you want. And if we pick you, we'd love to bring you out to the show or have you be on Zoom with us and do this. And also, too, everybody, if there's anything you want to see on the show, we accept free hats, because after I get the hats, I send them to Eric Palacio because he's the hat man. So if you have hats, send them to me. Anything you want on the show. I don't care. Whatever you send it to us at 1544 Ludwig, Santa Rosa, California. So again, everybody, appreciate you listening to the show and being a part of it. And thank you, Hans. Thank you, Jared. It was fun drinking some beers with you. So till next time, 2 tree guys and a bucket of beer.
Cheers.
Cheers. Usually say
Cheers.
peace. Peace.
Peace.
Thank you, everybody.